Hey, y'all. Listen, happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend and a great Monday. I had a great weekend, and I had a beautiful Monday. Trying to fix my clothes here so we can get into this Monday night trending topics. Listen, I'm so glad y'all hanging out with me. Don't forget, y'all know the routine. Make sure you hit that like button. It definitely helps the diva out. So we're going to go ahead and get into tonight's trending topics, okay? Tonight's trending topics: tragedy, desperation, justice. Tragedy, desperation, and justice. So, you know, the North Carolina family, where unfortunately a mom, only 28, 4 of her girls died in a house fire. 2 girls got out. This whole thing, they're still being very mysterious about this particular case. But the dad spoke out and said he is devastated. And I'm like, yeah, who wouldn't be devastated? You lost 4 of your children in the blink of an eye, just like that. Just gorgeous girls, just gone. But can I ask and can we talk? Where was he? This is a young mother with 4 children. And daddy needed to be in that household or helping her. Now, I don't know the story, so I can't say he wasn't. But why couldn't she call him to watch these kids? Why were these kids being watched by an 11-year-old? And the mother got charged. But can we have a conversation? Would you allow, I don't know who the 11-year-old belongs to, because this story is so vague, it's crazy. But would you allow your 11-year-old to go over and watch a child that's 2, 4, 5, and 7 or 6? My 11-year-old is babysitting no one because they could barely be able to take care of themselves. At 11, you still telling them, it's time to go to sleep. Did you take your bath? Brush your teeth? Say your prayers, and I'm about to send you to somebody's house to babysit their kids? I don't think so. So this is poor judgment all the way around. And the thing is, one bad decision can change your life forever. I'm sure this mother didn't want nothing to happen to her kids. And I'm sure she thought she was half doing something by getting somebody to babysit the kids, but you getting an 11-year-old to babysit? And we still don't know how the house burned down. The whole thing is tragic. And we're going to talk about it. So, and this is an update, because we talked about this story already, but now the father's speaking out, and I'm just wondering, if they into arresting people, why aren't some other people being arrested? Then times are hard. People are desperate. A well-known chef during his heyday, 62, behind on bills, struggling. And he robbed in one day, not 1, not 2, but 3 banks. And he thought at that moment he was robbing them, he thought it was a good idea. Desperate. And see, let me tell you, I didn't do this story yet, but there's a story, and maybe I'll do it after I'm done with this live, and maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow night. But there's a story of 2 influencers. One is called Tony the Closer. You might know him. Another one, she's a female, online fashion influencer, and she sells her own line of clothes, so forth and so on. Nicole Linnell, I think her last name is. And they were dating, and I'm going to cut the story short. He cheated. They broke up, allegedly. She was online telling all her fans that she's starting her whole life over, and she's went from day one, and I forgot what day she was up to, of starting my life over. I broke up with my boyfriend. He cheated on me. I'm good. I'm starting my life over. And she's posting these amazing videos. Day one, start my life over, running nice bath waters and all this and all that. In the meantime, back at the ranch, the boyfriend said they broke up and then they got back together, and she was still selling y'all a whole lie. Why do I bring that story up? The social media streets, a lot of people is full of lies. They in rented cars, pretending like they got a Benz and a Range Rover and a this and a that. They're pretending Airbnbs are their homes. They showing you closets full of stuff, gold, all of this stuff they showing you, and in the meantime, they broke. So this chef was desperate because him and the wife was in a hole, just owed tons of money. And that's why I try to tell y'all over here all the time that there is nothing wrong at all with your humble beginnings. And if you got to stay in a studio apartment where you able to turn the key and there's no trickery, fraud, you're not stabbing nobody in the back, you're not doing nobody 30, you're not lying, cheating, and stealing, it's all going to be good. Let me roll on to this next story. He got arrested, the chef, but we're going to talk about it. Now, this next story, I don't know if Maurene looking for justice. I don't know if you want to call this a tragedy. I don't know if you want to call this desperation. You could pick any one of the words. They all could fall under for Maurene. She's fighting back. Maurene got fired back in July. And now she's saying that they gave her no legitimate explanation. Has anybody been fired from a job? Did they always give you what you thought was a legitimate explanation? So Maurene Comey, and sometimes I'm going to be very honest with you. The people that lead the position, sometimes they leave behind a whole straight, hot, stinking, nasty mess for you. They leave a mess behind for you. And you got to figure out some way to put the pieces together, clean it up, if that's the job you're going to do. So Damian Williams, he left those ladies, and it was 6 of them. A hot, stinking mess of a case called the United States of America versus Sean Diddy Combs. It was a mess. And people can say whatever they want. I'm not saying I was the only, but I was definitely one of the first that told y'all that the whole thing was BS from the beginning. From the moment his homes got raided, I told y'all it was nonsense. And the people wanted to literally stab me. Oh, you hanging with an abuser. Oh, you being paid, you this, you that. No, I just can read and put 2 and 2 together. So Damian left them with a hot mess. But see, when somebody leaves you with a mess, you can decide, are you going to stew in the mess or are you going to clean up the mess? And so what Maurene did is she stewed in the mess. because she was more concerned about looking like a hero instead of dealing with, let me clean up this mess and tell the truth and shame the devil. Because she figured against Ghislaine Maxwell, she got to win. She was building up the chips so she could be a superstar over there in the Southern District of New York. So they kept throwing all this smut in the street about Diddy. And they thought that the public, a jury of his peers, would use their brains. And so when they came back and there was no guilty verdict on the RICO, the Southern District of New York darn near passed out. Because they were spending a lot of money on this trial, but they was like, you know how there's some people, they love to spend other people's money as long as it ain't theirs. What you want? You want steak, you want shrimp, you want biscuits, you want this, that's fine because it ain't their dime. It's not their dime. So they was spending the money because they figured when he gets found guilty of RICO, woo, we take it, we season everything. And we're going to recover what we spent. The prosecutors had a whole jury person sitting there in that whole trial that was getting something like $6,000 per day. $6,000 per day for what? The psychiatrist, Jess or whatever, who came in there to talk about pretty much Stockholm Syndrome, for one day, I think that person got about $5,000. One day, couple hours on the stand. When they was flying these different witnesses back and forth under duress, because not a near witness on that stand wanted to be there, that cost them cash. So how do you justify that budget and pretty much you lost? So that's why they're pushing for give this man 10 years per count of the Mann Act, because they want to justify the money they spent. But because they were upset with the verdict, somebody had to pay. So if you the leader, tag Maurene, you it. So I don't know what excuse they gave you, but they claimed to her one day, said, pack it up, you got to go. So that was July, September. She must not have found a job yet. Because now she pissed and she's suing. She's suing Trump, the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi. She's suing. Saying it's not constitutional, it's not right. She didn't get a legitimate excuse. And she had a stellar review before they fired her. And she think it's because of her daddy, James Comey, and Trump not getting along is the reason why she got fired. Well, if it was about her daddy, the minute Trump got in, he would have said, fire Maurene. Because you said they didn't give you a legitimate excuse anyway. Listen, I go by what the people say. That's why I like to wait for articles before I talk about stuff. So y'all won't be like, Diva, you making this up. No, I'm going by what Maurene said. Maurene said in her suit that they didn't give her a legitimate excuse. So if they didn't give you a legitimate excuse, if it was really about firing you because of your daddy, they would have fired you as soon as Trump went in office. He would have been like, fire Maurene because I can't stand her daddy. Fire her now. But he didn't. So I don't think it's about her daddy. I think it's more about they spent a lot on this Diddy trial. It didn't go the way they wanted it to go, and somebody had to pay. So tag Maurene, you was in, and they cut you off. But I'm not going to say this too. Good luck with your lawsuit. Good luck. I wish you well. How do I think this thing gonna go? I don't know, but I'm gonna say good luck, Maurene. And before I bring the people in the building so we could get in the conversation about tonight's topics, let me bring up this. The other night, we on the Trending Topic show, we talked about the young lady, the young mom that lost her life at her son's school. Her baby daddy and the new girl was involved somehow, some way, whatever. There are so many wicked stories going around about that case. It is beyond disgusting and sad. Beyond. The best thing I could say about that situation is this. I really feel like this is a deeper personal thing. I really feel like Pow Pow should only be in the hands of the police. I don't think nobody else. So every time a regular citizen, even when they have the right to carry, has one, somebody loses their life over something ridiculous. I really feel that only law enforcement and maybe the army people, whomever, they're the only ones that should need a Pow Pow. I feel like it should just be illegal for anybody else to have one. Because too many lives are being lost for no reason. That mother is gone now. Her son was what, 7? Gone. And for what? And lastly, I'm going to say this, and then I'm bringing the people in the building for real. Whether you male, female, whatever, and you in whatever relationship you in, because Diva don't care. But let me say this to you. When somebody tells you it's over, they don't want you no more, even if they don't tell you if it's over, what if they just ghost you? Let it go. Chase no one. Chase no one. Because the minute you got to start chasing somebody, the relationship is just doomed. It's just doomed. Be in a relationship where you want them and they want you. And when they no longer want you, listen, if you got to cry to your girlfriends, pray all night, whatever you believe in, whatever, pray to God that you can release the want for them. Let it go. Not chasing nobody. I don't care if I got one tooth in my mouth. I'm not chasing nobody. It never turns out well. But y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Monday Night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is Tragedy, Desperation, and Justice. They got the mom arrested, 28. We got to have a family conversation here about this. At what age should a child be allowed to babysit? And if you can't become a babysitter at some certain age, what age children should you be babysitting? A 15-year-old shouldn't be babysitting a newborn. We got to talk about it. The bank robbing and Maurene Comey, okay? Hey, Julius. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Diva, choo-choo.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Katrina. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Paul. Hey, Chip. Y'all,
hey, y'all.
Football game.
Hey. Listen, let's go ahead and get into this story. Maurene, she's salty. She got fired. They told her to pack it up. They didn't give her no real reason. And now she's suing. She won her job back. She got to fight again. She's up against a fight, though, because she fighting the #1 bully out there. Okay. And that's number 47. But that is what it is. And I'm not mad at her. Do you feeling what you feeling? Do what you got to do. Let me see if this is where I want to go. I think this is it. Let's do this first.
Lisa, we are getting some breaking news in. Maurene Comey, of course, the former SDNY prosecutor who was fired without real justification, at least what we have heard. Is now apparently suing the DOJ over her firing. What more are you learning?
So she filed a complaint today in the Southern District of New York, of course, where she served as a prosecutor, alleging that her firing, Ariel, was without cause, without advance notice, and without any opportunity to contest it. That, according to her lawyers in this complaint, was both unlawful and unconstitutional. I should also note Maurene Comey was a member of the teams that prosecuted not only Sean Diddy Combs, but Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and was lauded for her participation in both cases. We'll have to pay attention to see how fast this case moves and whether or not Maurene Comey, who served with distinction for many years, is reinstated to her position as prosecutor with the Department of Justice.
I'm thinking of this question as you're talking. There have been so many firings by the Trump administration lately. It's been dizzying. You had the CDC director, you have the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you have Lisa Cook, and now you had Maurene Comey. How does the Trump administration plan to deal with all of the mounting cases that we can see coming down the pike against them when it comes to these firings that many are claiming were without cause?
That's an interesting question. I mean, the cases are different in kind. For example, Lisa Cook has a very different kind of case as a member of the Fed's Board of Governors than Maurene Comey did as a civil servant who was what we call a line prosecutor. She was not a political appointee. She was not appointed by any particular president. But the administration's justification in both cases is remarkably similar. They say that under the president's constitutional powers, he essentially has carte blanche to hire and fire whoever he wants, and any statutes that stand in his way with respect to those firings are themselves unconstitutional because they don't give sufficient weight to the president's ability to control the executive branch of the government. So we'll have to see the arguments made by both of these women in their lawsuits. They should be markedly different. The administration's response, however, is always the same.
No shortage of storylines for both of you to be following, and we are lucky to have you doing so. Lisa Rubin, Christine Romans, thank you both.
All right, so Maureen is fighting for her job. Let me go and do another little thing here. So let me see if I can share again. All right, my screen is acting up. I'll see if it goes. Oh, wait, there you go. Might be coming. All right. Let's see. If not, I'll just read it to y'all. All right, as I'm waiting for my screen to stop acting up, Maurene Comey, daughter of ex-FBI Director James, sues the Department of Justice to get back U.S. Attorney's Office job. Ousted federal prosecutor Maurene Comey, who prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein. Wait, it seems like my screen is coming back up now. Hold on one second. It is. Okay, so ousted federal prosecutor Maurene Comey, who prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Diddy Combs at the powerful Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, sued the Department of Justice Monday over what she called her illegal and politically motivated firing. The daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, who was fired by President Trump early in his first term, charged that her unconstitutional July canning was due to her notorious dad, as well as her perceived political affiliation and beliefs. The Justice Department has not given a reason for Comey's sacking, which came while she was prepping for the October sentencing of Combs. The truth is no legitimate in truth, there's no legitimate explanation, Comey argued in her suit filed in Manhattan federal court. The suit notes Comey's work prosecuting Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, who was sentenced to 20 years in prison following a conviction on federal sex trafficking charges. The former prosecutor asked a federal judge to order her reinstatement to the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office effective immediately, and to declare the White House did not have the legal authority to remove her in the first place. Comey learned of her firing in a July 16th email from the Department of Justice Human Resources staff, the suit says. The message claimed her removal was pursuant to Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution, which outlines the powers of the president. Soon after, Comey asked Trump's pick to lead the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, Jay Clayton, for an explanation. All I can say is it came from Washington. I can't tell you anything else, Clayton told her, according to the suit. James Comey became a prominent Trump critic after the 45th president ousted him on May 9, 2017, amid an ongoing FBI probe of his 2016 campaign links with Russian officials. In May, the elder Comey was interviewed by the Secret Service after posting and deleting an image on Instagram of she cells spelling out numbers 8647, a message calling for the removal of the commander-in-chief. Trump administration officials claimed that the post amounted to an unaliving threat against the commander-in-chief, and several of the president's supporters called for Maurene Comey's firing. One of those were far-right internet personality Laura Loomer, who on Information and Belief has political influence in the Trump administration, including influence over the termination of federal employees, Comey's suit says. President Trump has publicly stated, if you're Loomered, you're in deep trouble. That's the end of your career in a sense, the suit reads. Loomer has also repeatedly made anti-Muslim statements, including calling Islam a cancer and referring to herself as a hashtag proud Islam. What is that? Phobia? Okay. Is proud Islam is Islamophobia. I don't know. I'm sorry. Following the inferior over James Comey post, Loomer insisted that his daughter be removed from the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office for being a national security risk via their proximity to a criminal, i.e. Mr. Comey, who just committed a felony by threatening to take out the president, the suit says. The Justice Department did not respond Monday to a request for a comment. So listen, I think it's a mixture of everything as to why she perhaps got fired. We're going to see how this goes. Julius, your thoughts?
Golly, that Islamophobe is just caught up in everything. She's in this lawsuit. She's in the conspiracy theory. She's in the conspiracy theories about Charlie Kirk. That name is just in everything. Maureen, one thing that is against you though, do you realize how much money you wasted? You wasted serious dough on this case when you had the chance to not move forward with it. That's part of the reason. Now the other thing is just trivial. That's just me. Because honestly, anything with the Loomer chick, the Islamophobe, yeah. She could go in the corner, face the wall, sit down somewhere, and, talk to Jesus. But I don't even think Jesus would talk to her because that child too crazy. Anyway. Maureen, yeah, you a little bit of a target for being James's daughter, but you did waste a lot of money. So we got to talk here. You wasted a lot of money, so that's part of the reason. Okay.
Thanks, Julius. In my opinion, your thoughts? In my opinion,
We all know that they don't have to have a reason to fire you. I feel like she taking it personal. It is what it is. You lost your job. You lost your job.
no, thank you. In my opinion, Savannah, your thoughts?
I think this had more to do with the 3 high-profile cases that she was involved in, being Jeffrey, Ghislaine, and then Sean, than the actual wasting of New York tax dollars to prosecute this case that they never really had together to begin with. But we had to remember that she was handed this box of poop from the former, and I can't remember his name, but the one who stepped down. And she was handed this mess and was given a couple weeks to try to, and we all now realize that they never really had anything to charge Diddy with besides the two misdemeanors that he has. While we can argue that maybe they were trying to come up after his businesses and his funding, I am more inclined to believe that this was a political hit because Laura Loomer is one of the most vile political. And I don't want to say she's an activist. I think she's more of a menace. And she has 47's ear, and she's been pressing him to fire um, uh, Comey, Maureen, for quite some time. And she also called for what was Isaac? It was Lucas Isaac or something that she kept on her on Fox and on her own show, pressing about how they had set up number 47 when he was 45 and caused him to be impeached twice, and the 34 counts that he was convicted of. So this was more of a political hit, in my opinion, than something just completely with having to do with the Combs trial. So I expected her to come back and file a lawsuit against Pam Bondi because it was honestly unjustified as to the why she was fired. Diddy case aside, they've been coming after her for quite some time. Um, and I didn't expect anything less. I don't expect her to win, but I did expect her to come back and sue the DOJ, Pam Bondi, for wrongfully terminating her.
Okay, interesting. I love your take on that. Callie, your thoughts?
She should have been fired. This woman, I mean, I think this woman is corrupt. I believe that because I'm just using the Diddy case because that's the one I follow, but to be perfectly honest, I don't have a lot of faith in any of these cases that she's been involved in. Because this woman knew that the evidence didn't add up. She saw the other camera angles. She talked to these so-called witnesses over 20 times. She knew their stories didn't add up. And instead of her just dropping the charges or offering a plea deal for the Mann Act with time served, she went on with this case. And I don't know who was in charge of that home raid that cost all of that money. But when you look at the accusations, there was nothing that he was being accused of that warranted those raids. They were literally looking for revenge P. You spend that much money to try to find revenge P in someone's house. This woman does not need to be prosecuting anyone anywhere. She is corrupt. She tried to frame someone. And if she would do that to a billionaire, what would she do to you or I? No, this woman don't need to be working nowhere as nobody's prosecutor ever. She needs to be happy she's not locked up herself.
Good God.
Go somewhere and sit down.
Yikes. But you know what, Callie? I'm laughing, but you know what? All jokes aside, you make a good point. If she would do this to a billionaire, what would she do to the regular people? Because she did speak to a lot of those witnesses for hours. She knew they was lying, and she allowed them to go out, smoke, try to get their life together, come back, and all this other nonsense. She knew this whole thing was a forest, and she kept rolling with it. I'm with you on that.
She had all of the text messages saying, "I love the freak offs." She knew that these women were coming and going and living their lives as they please. No one was being held against their will. And there was never an accusation that there was a ring of women being held against their will. So I'm still trying to understand what they were raiding the house, what they were looking for. I guess they were looking for the revenge P that Cassie said she was being threatened with. I have no idea. But this woman is out of control.
Well, you said it. I appreciate you. That's why we got a panel. Wayne, your thoughts?
Well, I hope she get a job back. I hope she sue. I hope she take it all the way to the Supreme Court. How she has to take it. I think it was agitated by the top. I don't think it had nothing to do with money. I think it was an opportunity for the top to humiliate her. Like y'all say, well, if he wanted to humiliate, whatever, he could have done it before that, whatever. But who cared about this black person? Nobody. So whether she did it, was the public defender or whatever, or anybody else, I don't think it was about the money. Almost $500 million. That's nothing to him. So I don't think it was about the money. I think it was about revenge. And it was the perfect opportunity. She practically lost the case or whatever, and this was a perfect opportunity. Boom, fire. Yeah, it came from the top. And I agree with Savannah, a political hit. That's it.
Katrina, your thoughts?
Well, I guess I'm on the train with Savannah and Wayne.
Come on with it, Katrina.
Oh my God, here we go. No, because I feel like this. She had to handle the case because somebody else brought these charges up. So she had to deal with what he left her to deal with. So she came back behind him and she's going by what these people are telling her. So, I mean, sure, some of her stuff is not there, but that's what a lawyer do. The lawyer try to get to it. And for them to just up and fire her because she lost the case, well, not all parts of the case, but for majority of the case, but she still got 2 convictions. And as we say, this man do not like Comey, and Trump is all about revenge. If he can't get no revenge up in there, he won't be the president right now. And I feel like she should, I will fight for my job too. They have fired everybody that they think is against this administration, and these people are without jobs because of vengeance. Nothing else. Yeah, she was, she tried to push the case and do this and do that, but that's what a lawyer do. They all get up there and lie. That's why what the lady said, that's why they call lawyers. But she got the case handed to her from what this guy gave her. So she was going on that. Maybe she should have just sat back, refreshed, and got some new eyes on top of the case instead of pursuing it the way she did. But this was a high priority case, and she did what she had to do. But that's all I got. That's just my opinion. But that's all I got. And I think he is firing her because of vengeance. But that's it.
Well, we're gonna see how this lawsuit goes. Maybe she did get fired because of vengeance, but they do say you reap what you sow. So I don't know. I'm going to carry on. I wish Maureen all the best. We're going to see how it goes because I'm going to keep my eye on it. But I will also add this, whether it's work, my home life, whatever I'm doing, you can hand me a pile of poo, but if I smell it and something ain't right, I'm not going to continue down the pooey path that you handed me. So I got handed from Damian Williams this Sean Diddy Comey case, and I sat in my house and I'm reading through, everything here. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me call in the first witness here. Who we got? Kid Cudi. Did you see him? Do you know for a fact that he blew up your car? Nah, but I heard the street rumors. Okay, I'm checking Kid Cudi off the list. Nothing there. I'm gonna bring in the next witness. Did he actually do blah, blah, blah? Did he shove the drugs down your throat? Did this happen, that happened, that happened? No, well, we was there. We was all doing it together, blah, blah, blah. Okay, check. Let me get the next witness to come in here and talk to. Nobody needs to talk to me 35 times if I'm telling my truth. But when I talk to you 35 times, it's because time number one, you said one story. Time number two, you said another story. Time number three, I'm telling you to get the story that I want you to get right. And then I'm practicing with you 24 more times so that hopefully when you get up to understand, you get it right. There was people that lied on that stand, got caught in lies, that the jury themselves, that they said they didn't even believe them. So yeah, you can hand me some garbage, but when I hand it back to you, it's going to be all straightened out. And if you want to continue down this path, y'all can get somebody else to do this. But I'm going to move on, and I wish her luck, okay? Yeah, and she added the Mann Act charges. She sure did, because if she didn't, he would have walked free. But we'll carry on. It was nonsense, okay? All the people that work with Diddy, they knew what type of duty was. You better talk about it. They did. You don't get too many people. Listen, if I'm not a drug addict, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see me on the corner with the crackheads and they smoking crack and I'm not. It's just stupid. And this ain't me. I didn't go to Harvard or Yale. This is 101 stuff. If I'm not a drinker, there's not too many times you're going to find me in the crowd with a whole bunch of people that drink. They know what was up, but we're going to continue on. Let me roll into this next story. And the next story is, we did this story already, but the dad is speaking out. And the dad is saying pretty much that, he's devastated about what happened to his 4 daughters. This is the young ladies that lost their life out there in North Carolina. And the dad has spoken out. The mother, 28, got charged. It's just, this whole thing is devastating. But let me share screen. I think. Let me just give me a minute. I'm trying to cue it back up. Okay, let's listen.
The winner of 2025's Tony Award for Best Musical is Maybe Happy Ending. This 5-star New York Times critics pick is unlike anything you've ever seen. Maybe Happy Ending. Get tickets today.
Thanks for joining us tonight for your news at 10. I'm Jeff Reibenbark. A woman has been charged in the death of her 4 children in Columbus County. It is our top story at 10 tonight. WWA's Connor Doherty has been looking at the warrants. Connor, what have you learned about the charges she's facing?
Jeff, I'm holding the 4 warrants right here. They show the children's mother was arrested and charged today, and then she bonded out of jail a short time later. 28-year-old Reagan Noel Powers is facing 4 felony counts of involuntary manslaughter and 4 felony counts of child abuse. Warrants show that Powers, quote, did show reckless disregard for human life by committing a willful act, leaving minor children unattended in her residence. This is video of that home at 259 North Colony Road in Chadbourn, several hours after the fire occurred on Saturday, August 30th. WWAY was there when investigators were combing through the debris of the burned structure, trying to piece together what happened. The warrants allege that Powers committed, quote, a grossly negligent omission, leaving her residence and her children in the care of an 11-year-old. That 11-year-old and another child were able to escape from the home, but the 4 youngest children, 7-year-old Kalani, 6-year-old Kendall, 4-year-old Josephina, and 2-year-old Sophia Melvin died in the fire. The warrants go on to say Powers' act and omission resulted in serious bodily injury, death to the children. Powers was booked at the Columbus County Detention Center just before 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, and she bonded out about an hour later. On Tuesday, officials said the cause of the fire remained officially undetermined, but that investigators found no evidence to suggest the fire was started intentionally. Several agencies are part of the investigation, including the Columbus County Fire Marshal's Office, the Columbus County Sheriff's Office, the Office of the State Fire Marshal, and the SBI. In a statement sent this week from the children's father, Patrick Ellis, he said, "My heart is shattered beyond words at the loss of my daughters." Tuesday night, lots of people showed up for a memorial service at a funeral home in Chadbourne to show their respects.
A celebration of life service for the children is scheduled for 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon at Worley Mortuary in Fairmont. Jeff?
Thank you, Connor.
Welcome.
So incredibly sad. I just wonder, like, where was the father? Like, something just, and to me, who do these 11-year-old girl that was watching them, who does she belong to? And if y'all into arresting people, I'm sorry, why aren't more people arrested? An arrest has been made after 4 girls aged 7 and under died in a horrific house fire. The dad of the victims, Kalani 7, Kendall 5, Josephina 3, and Sophia Melvin 2, said his heart is shattered after their home erupted into flames on August the 30th. That's mom. Imagine being 28, though, with all of these children. 2, 3, 5, and 7. Gorgeous little girls. Look like so loving. You could tell their dad loved them. But dad, this is a lot for a 28-year-old. Where was he? First responders raced to the home in Columbus County, North Carolina, about 2.5 hours southeast of Charlotte, 9 minutes after being called, but the fire had already engulfed the property. An 11-year-old and another child were able to escape. I don't know who these two are. I don't know. A lot is going on here. I'm going to try to keep it easy. But the other 4 were trapped inside, and it was too dangerous for crews to enter, the Henry County's Sheriff Office said. On Wednesday, the victim's mom, Reagan Noel Powers, 28, was arrested and accused of leaving her children to fend for themselves when the fire broke out, cops said. Authorities say the 11-year-old was babysitting without any other adult supervision when they died. Who is this 11-year-old, and why would an 11-year-old, the mother, allow her to go watch these young kids? Now, why aren't we talking to her too? Because at the end of the day, it was fortunate that the 11-year-old got out. But what if the 11-year-old would have died in there too? Would they be arresting that mom too? While the exact cause of the fire has not been determined, investigators says there was no evidence that it was arson. In a statement, Henry County Sheriff Bill Rogers and Columbus County Fire Marshal Shannon Blackman described the incident as an unimaginable tragedy. We ask that everyone join together in support of the family and loved ones affected by this devastating loss, they wrote. The thoughts and prayers of our agencies are with them during this extremely difficult time. Patrick Ellis, the father of the 4 girls, said in a statement, "My heart is shattered beyond words at the loss of my daughters." Devastating videos taken by the local outlet after the fire showing abandoned toys strewn on a lawn besides the Saint home. Let me say this. The nice thing is that Shaq, he stepped up along with, I want to say, the sheriff in this neighborhood, and he helped pay for the homegoing services for these children. Let's see if this is, it'll play for us. Neighbors in the community set up a makeshift memorial outside the property and asked for prayers. On Thursday, Henry County Sheriff Office.
First of all, tough guy, I'm not answering that question until you spell pontificating. What the is that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was the other video. On Thursday, Henry County Sheriff's Office announced it had partnered with NBA star Shaquille O'Neal to provide a joint donation to the grieving family. Officials said the gift fully covers the expenses associated with honoring the girls and lifts financial burden. As a father, my heart is broken for the Ellis family, said O'Neal, according to the NBC affiliate. What I can offer is love, support, and a promise that their lives will not be forgotten. More than 100 people showed up for a memorial service on Tuesday to pay their respects. In a heart-wrenching obituary, the girls were remembered as bright lights who brought joy to everyone around them. Kalani loved sunsets, Kendall adored rainbows, Josie never turned down pizza, and Sophia's favorite was watching Bluey. The obituary reads, Key facts in the tragedy: victims is 4 sisters: Kalani, Kendall, Josephina, Sophia, all under 7. Escape: oh, so 11-year-old sibling and her sister made it out alive. So there, I guess the 11-year-old and the 11-year-old sister who was babysitting made it out alive. Mom Reagan Noel Powers faces 4 counts of manslaughter plus 4 counts of child abuse. Bond released on $400,000 within an hour of arrest. Community response, vigils, memorials, and $15K raised on a GoFundMe. Celebrity help. Shaquille O'Neal promises to support the grieving father. The sisters love playing outside, singing, dancing, and sharing their favorite treats of strawberries and grapes. They love their church, their friends, and their family deeply. And though their time here was far too short, their love and light will forever shine in the hearts of all who knew them, the obituary states. A GoFundMe was started for the family and it raised over $15,000. In the fundraiser, the organizer asked for help easing financial burdens and said no parent, sibling, or family member can ever be prepared for this kind of loss. Powers was charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 4 counts of felony child abuse causing serious injury. She was booked into Columbus County Detention Center but released just an hour later on a $400,000 bond. In her bond hearing, the judge said that she could face 59 months for each count of involuntary manslaughter and 88 months for neglect, child abuse. This is just sad. Julius, your thoughts?
It's sad, but it's suspicious. Even though they may not suspect any foul play right now, it's not adding up.
Mm-hmm.
The mugshot of the mother in the picture, she looked at, I don't know if she was just done or what, but unremorseful.
No, I won't say that. I think she's in pain. All 4 of her babies are gone.
Fine, I'll take it this way. In pain, but there's definitely more to the story.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Julius. In my opinion, your thoughts?
This is the reason why we don't let kids raise our other kids. This is the sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have been avoided had she done the right thing. Had a sister, auntie, uncle, somebody who was old enough to know what was going on to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Kids don't know how to raise other kids.
Mm-mm.
We gotta stop leaving kids with kids and thinking that they are babysitters. They not. They kids themselves. People need to stop having babies if you can't take care of them.
Callie, your thoughts?
So the 11-year-old sister was younger than her?
No, it was 11-year-old and her sibling that got out of the house.
So was her sibling an older person that might have been watching them?
No, because the article says the 11-year-old was babysitting. So I don't know. They're not telling us some things, right? I'm wondering if Savannah said twins. So you say the 11-year-olds were twins?
Yes, Diva. In the article, one of the articles in the 11-year-olds that got out were twins. There were 2 twin girls, 11 years old.
Do you think that the 2 parents were together? The 11-year-old's mom and this mom were together wherever the mom was?
Yeah, that's true, because where was the mother of the 11-year-old that she would allow her 11-year-old to babysit other children?
That part.
Because at 11, my mom wasn't just going to let me go to the neighbor's house and babysit.
That
my mom would be like, wait, what is happening? What? No.
I wonder if
So
they was together.
they had to have been.
So my thing is, you arresting people. You don't think this 11-year-old, the twins' mothers, was reckless too?
You know what? It's very odd, like you said, that one person was arrested. I do know that in a lot of states, you do have to be at least 12 to be left at home by yourself. I don't know if that was the law when I was a kid. I don't know what it is now. So I could see why someone would have been arrested. But why wasn't the mom of the 11-year-old also arrested? So this whole, unless she's being arrested for some other thing that happened, this whole thing is a little bit confusing to me. 11 is not old enough to be babysitting younger kids. It's just not. You may feel that an 11-year-old is old enough to stay for a few minutes by themselves without, setting the house on fire or letting a stranger in or whatever. But they're definitely not old enough to be watching other kids. Because yes, they may understand not to start a fire, but does the 6-year-old understand that? 11 is very young. 11 is not really cognitively an age where you can watch a bunch of other kids. And I do think that this, at 27 years old, I got to be honest, I was going back to college for the second time, still trying to find myself. There's no way in the world I would have been able to be responsible to take care of these kids. There's just no way. But I also find it weird that she had money to bail out immediately, but she didn't have money for childcare.
Well, you better talk to the people.
And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but just sort of looking at the home and just in general, it didn't seem like she'd be the type of money that the person that would just have a bunch of money laying around. So where did she get this bail money? Like that's what I always find weird when these people, they're dirt poor, they're having all these issues, but bailed out of jail. Just came up with this money to just bail out, whether if it was $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever, they just bailed out of jail. Like, how did you get out of jail if you were struggling this bad? So there's some stuff with this story that to me, I don't quite understand. I'm wondering if maybe she was arrested because she had some sort of a record or because there was something else found in the home, because I just don't know why the mother of the other 2 children wouldn't have been arrested if it was only because of this.
They're not telling us something, and I don't know what the something is. And I'm about to come to you, Savannah. Maybe you have more. Who was that? I just took your thing off the screen, Donnie. Said that they agree with Julius. They think something's nefarious is going on with the mom. She's 28. She's 28, and even if she was outside doing something shady, went to a party, I don't know, smoking, drinking, whatever, those girls look loved and happy. I don't think that she thought for 1 minute that this was going to happen. And I also don't think for 1 minute that this was the first time those 11-year-olds were babysitting the kids. I think that there has been other stories where parents thought it was a good idea. Let's both go out and we're going to bring all of our young kids together to one house, and so-and-so going to be sleeping. It's going to be fine. And something crazy always happens. I judge no parent in the sense of, when I come to, this was a bad idea. So when I say I judge no parents, my life, I tell everybody I have one son. But when I say the village helped me, the village helped me. I never had first of all, I just never really went anywhere anyway, but I never had to worry about a babysitter, like ever in my life, not for 1 second. So I don't even know that struggle, so to speak, right? But I've seen and read many stories where parents make bad decisions that they think we're going to bring all our young kids together, leave this, so they all going to be at Diva House, and me and you going to go out. But see, again, I never had the need to go out that bad either. This is a bad It was a bad decision. But the only thing I can say is I don't think in her heart of hearts she wanted anything to happen to her girls. I think she made a bad decision and it went wrong. Savannah, your thoughts?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Diva. I think this was a night of bad decisions.
Mhm.
So, according to the Columbus County website, because I seen this story this weekend,
Mhm.
this allegedly happened on at the end of August. I think August 30th was when this incident happened. The fire happened at like 2:30 in the morning. So
Mhm.
at that time, these babies were asleep.
Mhm.
We're to assume that these babies were sleeping, and they are not releasing much on this story for some reason.
Mhm.
Um, they're not saying if where she was, first of all, what was she doing out at that night, time of night with babies, because these were babies. There was 2 years old, 4 years old, and I don't care if their child is 12, 15, 16. That is a lot for someone to be babysitting. That's a house full
Mhm.
of rambunctious, active little girls. That's an all night sleepover with no adult supervision, basically.
Mhm.
So and where is dad? We're putting everything on mom. Where is dad? Was he at work? Is he around? I agree with Callie. She bonded out very quickly. So if you had $40,000 to bond out, then you should have had money for proper care.
Mhm.
I'm so confused. I have been looking for more on this story. It is on the county website, um, and I do know that it was 11 years, two 11-year-olds that got out. It classified them as twins. Whether they're hers or belonging to someone else, I'm not sure. Uh, but she just looks like a woman that's broken, that made a horrible decision, and
Mhm.
now she is affected, not just her, but now those other two girls that survived. She's lost for her four babies. This is just tragic on tragic, and shout outs to Shaq and that sheriff and the organization that is stepping in and assisting the family. But here again, a village has failed, and there does need to be some accountability. So if she has to go and do some time, you made a bad decision as a mother. We come down on the mothers that leave their babies in hot cars.
Mhm.
So that's a decision you make. And she made a decision to go out to a club, a concert, or whatever. Because if it was work, they would have said mom was at work. But
Yeah.
no article can I find that says mom was at work. So
She was
uh,
partying, clubbing,
it
perhaps
sounds like it.
be doing something else.
Boots on
It's
the ground.
tragic. But see, I don't like again, I don't think this was the first time. I think this is just the first time something tragic happened. I just think it's
Absolutely. I agree. And for
her.
that, the home,
Go ahead. Mhm.
yeah, and the home to go up, because the firefighter says that the home was completely engulfed. They responded within 7 to 9 minutes. Um, Everyone, law enforcement and responders were on scene, but they couldn't go in. So that home was a fire hazard to begin with. So there's a lot that they are not telling. They're really
Yeah.
not telling
How did
the
that home
story.
just burn up like that? Yeah. And then where was the girl sleeping at in comparison to the sisters that the girls got out, but the sisters didn't? I don't know.
Right.
It just
I'm
yeah.
wondering if there was some sort of accelerant in this home, and this is the reason why she's been arrested, if you know what I mean. I hate to accuse people of stuff like that, but I'm just wondering because, like you guys said, the way that it went up, the fact that the fire was so hot, they could not even go in. The other girls probably got out because they probably were sleeping in the living room and the other girls were in their bedrooms.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. This is so incredibly sad. Wayne, did you go, Wayne?
No, I don't see anything nefarious, anything suspicious about this. Like you said, those children look like they were loved. I think they were loved on both sides very well. This is just a case of a negligent mother. She made the wrong decision, and it will haunt her the rest of her life. She just made bad choices. Unfortunately, all her kids was a result of it. But I think she loved them. I think he loved them. And as far as like where was he, they don't, I don't want to pass judgment on that. He could have been, maybe thought everything was cool. Maybe he was okay. He stepped out or something. And she still did her thing. So this is just negligence. That's all.
Katrina, your thoughts?
Yes, it's sad on all levels. The only thing that gives me solace, at least I hope inhaling the smoke, they took their bodies out before, you know what I'm saying? Instead of them feeling the heat of a burn. Yeah, she made a terrible mistake because the kids was 11 years old. You barely can get 14 and 15-year-olds to watch other kids and be responsible. How you think 11-year-olds gonna be responsible? And when they probably woke up, they flee because they're a child. They didn't, they ain't got the respect to go. Okay, let me go get this one. Let me go get that one. They was on their own, and so for them to get out the house, that's what they did. And it's sad, but like you said, we ain't got to punish the lady. She's gonna punish herself for the rest of her life because she gonna have it in her head that I left my kids here. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? So her punishment gonna be enough, and whatever they give her, I mean, she just gonna have to take the fall. I mean, not take the fall, but it ain't no fall to take. But she just gonna have to take the punishment and the crime for that because you was the one that did it. You was the one that left them there, and that's sad. It's just totally, totally sad that these kids are gone. For what? Like Savannah said, you wasn't at work. Where were you at? And it's 2:00 in the morning. You out to 2:00 in the morning. But you left.
You know the
Anything could have happened. Anything could have happened within that time period. But I'm not going to judge her or anything like that. But I'm just saying, her burden is going to be that she left her kids at home and they're no longer here anymore. She's punished herself enough already. That's all I got.
Yeah.
the dad could not have lived there because I think he would have been arrested too.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You know what,
Because
Kelly?
how do you just arrest one parent if they're both living in the house and the kids were left by themselves unattended? How only does one parent get? He couldn't have been living there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that. But this my problem though. How is these 11-year-olds mother not arrested too? So listen, it would be a lot.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, it would be a lot for me to be watching a 2, a 5, a 7, a this, a 6, and a this. It would be a lot for me, an adult, to be watching all those kids, especially now with all this technology. And listen, the amount of times I will call my son name when it was too quiet, and that's just me having one. Imagine you gotta make sure all four of these kids is good and all is well. I would be exhausted by the time the night came, and they all would have to go to bed 8:00. I'm sorry, everybody's just about to shower, eat, and go to bed, so I could go rest. So how do you leave an 11-year-old to watch all of these children? It's just sad. I think they put those kids to bed. I think it's like you said, Callie, the young girls, because it wasn't their house, they were sleeping on the couch. That's how they was able to get out. The girls, because it was their home, they was upstairs in their beds or wherever they were in their beds. And when the young 11-year-olds, they're children. They're not thinking, oh, I got to go save so-and-so and so-and-so. And I hate to say this, I'm not saying this in a mean way, especially because that wasn't their sisters. You understand? Like if you were 11 and you sleep on the couch, you're like, oh my God, I got to go get Josephina, this one, that one, or whatever. They saw fire and they ran out. And I don't know how that house got so engulfed in the flames like that. And maybe I'm thinking the community came together and got her out of the jail, because at the end of the day, I don't think this mother was a bad mother. I think she was a young mother that made a bad decision. At 28, you want to still hang out and do all kind of crazy stuff, but you can't. You got 4 kids. You guys tag you it. You got to stay in that house. But her and the 11-year-old moms, they was in the streets. And why aren't they arresting that 11-year-old mom either? I don't know. This thing is baffling me. But the house had a metal roof. I don't know what to say about this one, but I will stay connected. I'm going to roll into the last story. And you know what? I think, let me back up before I roll out. Let me say this. A lot of people are wondering, like, why do we keep mentioning this father? Because I guess at the end of the day, I'm tired of men fathering these children, and then everything is left on the mother's back. 28 with 4 kids is a lot. And they all had the same father. But I'm going to roll into this last story. Let me share screen. Renowned California chef arrested for robbing 3 San Francisco banks in one day. Cooking up some crime. A renowned California chef has been arrested for allegedly pulling off 3 bank robberies in one day in San Francisco last week. Valentino Luchin, 62, the former executive chef at beloved Italian restaurant Rosa Pistola in San Fran, struck 3 different banks across the city on September 10th by passing handwritten notes to the tellers demanding money, according to the San Francisco Police Department. That is him. Officers responded to a robbery at a bank near Grant Avenue in Chinatown around 12 p.m. Upon arrival, one of the tellers informed police that the suspect had handed a note demanding cash, and out of concern for their safety, she had complied. After being handed a bag of cash, the suspect fled. Officials did not reveal how much money he managed to steal. An investigation launched by city's robbery unit quickly identified Luchin as the suspected bank robber. Cops tied the Italian-born chef to 2 more Central District bank heists the same day after spotting similarities in the suspect description and robbery style. Authorities also stated that members of the SFPD's Ambassadors Program and Community Tips contributed to the identification of Luchin as the suspected bank robber. Officers determined that the suspect who committed these robberies was Luchin, police said. Police then formulated a strategic plan that led Luchin's apprehension without further incident. He was arrested later that same day in connection with the 3 bank robberies and booked into San Francisco County Jail. There go his loot. He has been charged with 2 counts of robbery and 1 count of attempted robbery. The former chef remains in custody while awaiting formal charges. This isn't the first time the chef and former owner of Octavio in Walnut Creek, which closed its doors for good in 2016, has been accused of robbing a bank. He was arrested for allegedly robbing a Citibank in Orinda, California, where $18,000 was stolen in 2018, East Bates Time reported. Security footage caught a hooded man in dark shades and white gloves armed with a BB gun. Following his arrest, he told the outlet in a jailhouse interview that he was ordered to rob a bank out of desperation over the collapsed Octavio. I thought it was a good plan, but it was not, he said, adding that he never intended to hurt anyone. My action wasn't aggressive. It was a fake pow-pow. I don't even know how to load a real one. He claimed that he wrote an apology letter to the teller he allegedly threatened. It's unclear if he was ever charged in connection with the robbery. Born in Italy region, He immigrated to the U.S. in 1993 and quickly became a rising star in the culinary world. However, after Walnut Creek was shut down, leaving him with a financial burden, he said his life began spiraling out of control. Everything went downhill. He told East Bay Times, everything became more complicated. Desperation leads you to do things you never thought you were capable of, he added. Bankruptcy records from 2015 obtained by the outlet revealed that he and his wife had fallen behind on their Chapter 13 plan, with more than $111,000 in debt and only $27,000 in access to their name. You know what's interesting? He robbed one bank, pretty much got away with it, even though he got caught, and he kept doing it. And he had a pow, whether it was fake or not. But God bless him, because he got to live and still got to walk, and he ain't even from here, didn't get deported. This is crazy. Julius, your thoughts?
What is the... Okay, yes, this man is alive, even if it was a toy, right? So, look, I know this economy is terrible. Okay? I know it's terrible right now. But them people ain't gonna know that that's fake. You put their lives at risk.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't set it off. We all remember that first scene in the Federal Bank. This ain't set it off. You can't just set it off like that. I understand he was desperate. But, sir, you were dumb as bricks at the same time. You put those people's lives at risk, even if they found out later. I just wish he was locked up. Dumb as bricks.
In my opinion, your thoughts?
He was so desperate that he didn't go out and try to find a job.
Uh-oh.
Or
Come on,
ask
talk.
somebody, hey, can I cut your grass for some money? You were so desperate that all you thought about was to put somebody else into some kind of mayhem and make their life desperate. You don't know what kind of PTSD these people gonna have now because you came in there and thought you was doing something. Whether it was fake or not, they didn't know it was fake. When you passed them that note, they were scared. They was in desperation too. So don't come to me with the desperation. And the fact that he's not being deported and Joe Gorga was deported and all he did was did some tax papers wrong, I feel aggrieved, okay? This man is 60-something years old. He don't get a pass. And how he robbed a bank once before, he got away with it. We can't get stopped.
Ooh.
We may not get away with it. Lord have mercy. I'm tired of these folks. I don't want none of he ain't getting no pity from me, okay? Far too many of our brothers are sitting in jail for far less.
I appreciate you. In my opinion, Callie, your thoughts?
I'm still wondering, as in my opinion just said, how is this man not being deported? And Joe Giudice was deported for way less. I knew someone who actually was an immigrant from Italy. They will get deported with the quickness. Like they can't really, they really, they cannot miss a court date. They cannot get in no trouble. That's one of those countries where they will send you back there. Because I think there's like no real like amnesty or anything coming from there. Like you're really just coming here just because you just want to come here. So I don't understand how this man is not being deported. I don't understand how this man wasn't already in jail. I do have some empathy for a person who feels like, oh, I got this great job, and then it's gone, and you can't replace it, and you don't have another stream of income. And one thing I will say to everybody, please do whatever you can to create a second stream of income, and don't depend on one job or one business, especially if your business is a restaurant, because restaurants go out of business all the time. I mean, they just do. But especially if you don't even own it, you don't know what the owners are doing with that business, and you could just lose your job tomorrow. So I have empathy in that level, but I also feel like nothing is worth your freedom. I am not about to go do anything that is going to go get myself locked up. Nothing, I don't, nothing is worth going to go sit in that cell. And I don't even know what he was thinking, that he was just gonna just get away with this. This is insane. And I don't know. I'm sure I have a friend that's a chef. He's actually started cooking at his home and doing like barbecues and stuff. And that's how he was able to kind of like make it until he could get something else going. I see people selling plates on Instagram. There are all kind of things you can do as a chef to try to make money going to go rob a bank with a fake gun. And I kind of feel like maybe this man was sort of already a criminal, and he just kind of went back to his old ways, you know. But yeah, this is crazy.
Teach people how to cook on YouTube or the Instagram.
Yeah.
You're right. There's another answer. But the fact that he did it, got caught, got away with it, this is just messy. Savannah, your thoughts?
And it wasn't his first time either. He's been robbing banks since 2016, 2018. So I'm within my opinion. I thought the same thing. How is this man still in the country? And he has on multiple occasions and been found to been robbing bank institutions in and around a certain neighborhood in San Francisco. So this is messy, and miss me with the there was no other way. I thought the same thing, Diva. Like, why is he cooking on YouTube, a food truck? Chef Andres is always cooking, popping up pop-up tents and cooking from tents. Like, I don't understand this. This seems like it's all privilege to me, and he definitely needs to be doing some jail time and sent back to his country.
Thank you, Wayne.
I was going to say, I'm impressed. I'm impressed that this man did all these robberies with a fake gun, never got hurt, will probably get some time in jail, end up being Uncle Grandpa, get out on good time for doing good, back on the street, and probably never do it again. Because we sure wouldn't have got it like that. But he did. That's it.
Katrina, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, he robbing these banks and you still in debt. What, he trying to wash the money or something so the people won't, run the serial numbers to come back to him? Because if you robbed how many banks and you still in debt? So what you did with the money? Or you saving the money? Because I know when they rob banks and they do prison time, when they come out, that money belongs to them because they had served time for that money. So you run around with a fake gun, robbing banks.
He probably ain't
and
getting enough money.
You a shell. He talking about you a shell. You a shell. So the chef was a facade. Because if you doing all this cooking and stuff like that, you would have known for yourself that you could make money, as everybody is saying. But you wanted the easy way out, and then you wrote him a note and told him you was sorry with a fake gun,
Can stop saying the word, please.
I mean, pow. Sorry, a fake pow. And the thing of it is, when even if it's a fake pow or not, the attempt was still there. And they're not gonna say that, okay, he did it with a fake pow pow and you're gonna get away with that. No, they're gonna say you came in with this weapon that you have, regardless of it's fake or not, the intent was still there. And then you writing these people a notes. And then, like you said, he ain't got away with it. You have got away with it and you kept doing it. So I guess he was part of the Newman family that was robbing these banks and these trains and whatsoever. This is ridiculous because you should be saying that you were in debt when you robbed all these banks. You talking about your house and all that. So you weren't paying on anything. So as we said, he probably stacking that money up somewhere. He probably ain't even in no darn debt. He just that's his thing, robbing banks. That was his job. So he was going out there doing what he was doing and didn't get caught. But we'll see what, like y'all said. And then, yeah, why is he still here? If these other people did something like that, they working in factories and they've been sent out the country and they even did half the things that he did. This is crazy. This is crazy on so many levels. And yeah, I'm glad he got caught because his next robbery probably wouldn't end as good. But anyway, we'll see what happened with him. That's all I got.
Yeah, listen, I'll stay connected to see if they're gonna let him get off yet again and just write apology notes. I know a lot of people that would love to write an apology note and get away with it because isn't robbing the bank a federal crime? But anywho,
Yes, it is.
ain't that crazy? This is the craziest. I mean, to see what some people get away with and others, they in their house just saying 2 words and they get pow in the head and they're gone. And this man gets to go around robbing banks and then talk about, well, I did say sorry and I never meant to hurt anybody. I'm sure everybody that hurt somebody once in hindsight, they'd be like, I never meant to hurt them. But anyway, well, we'll stay connected to these stories. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do the diva a favor. Hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo.